This is part of my series, Famous Riffs for Nylon String Guitar. This wasn't written for nylon string guitar, obviously, but this song from Aerosmith is one of the most characteristically Spanish rock songs I've ever heard. It uses a harmonic minor scale, and what we're gonna do is see if we can play that riff as Joe Perry does it, but add the bass with it, and that's really what we do in our fingerstyle Latin guitar thing, is put the chords and the melody together for a more full arrangement. Okay, there's really some interesting chords in this intro, and they end up being really great finger independence exercises, I think. So we're starting out with an E minor chord played with the D minor shape up here. At the beginning, on the recording, there's no bass at all, so we're not gonna do the bass yet. We're gonna bring that in when it happens on the album. So right now, we're only playing these three strings, and we have an arpeggio here in the right hand playing the ring in the middle at the same time, and then our index can play the third string by itself, and that's the groove of the whole intro here. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So it's interesting that we have this note on the bottom on the ands, where you might more often hear it the other way around, going 1 and 2 and, this being the lower note. So 1 and 2 and, drag this down here, and we have what looks like a B minor chord. It's really a way of playing a D major chord, D major 6 chord, but we're gonna play it with different fingers, and that's to accommodate what's coming up next. So we're gonna take this first finger and drag it down here and play these three chords. We're gonna finger this a different way when the bass comes in, because it's gonna be really a kind of a gnarly section if we don't do that. But for now, we can just play this, same arpeggio. Now take these two fingers and just flip them upside down. Keep the ring finger where it is. Okay, drag those same two fingers down 1 fret and swap your pinky out. Your pinky's gonna play that same B note that your ring finger was just playing. So we're going from here to there. Just to work out what these chords are, you might skip the arpeggio and just go through the shapes. Flip them over, drag it down. Okay, here's the arpeggios. Okay, next part goes back again to where we started, only this time, add your pinky here, slide your pinky up to the 7th fret, and we're playing this, kind of like a power chord on the treble strings. An inverted power chord of an E5 chord. Okay, that's the real intro. No bass yet. Okay, now the actual bass guitar comes in, and we're gonna see if we can add that, and that's what kind of makes this such a kind of a cool Spanish guitar thing as well. So we're gonna play an E, then it goes down to D, then it's C sharp, and then it's C natural, okay? That's a very sinister sounding descending bass line. Pretty cool. If we look at these chords, it's an E minor chord, then it's a D major chord, but it's really a B minor shape that we're playing here, so that could be argued that it's a D6 chord. And then this is like C sharp diminished 7th or E minor 6th. And then this is C major 7 with an F sharp, a Lydian sound there on that weird chord at the end. It doesn't really matter if you know that or what the chords are anyway, but we're gonna go low E, then we're gonna play D on the next chord, then we got our C sharp, and then we got a C. Let's see what this looks like when we put it all together. We have this. Now here, go to this chord, but use your pinky instead of your ring finger like before. That's gonna free up this finger so that we can play this note. If you don't do it this way, you won't be able to play this intro cleanly. Okay, so we're back to here. D in the bass. Now we're playing C sharp. This finger, remember these have to flip over. Do that, but bar it. You don't really have to bar it at the moment, but it's gonna help us get, I think, more cleanly or more readily to the next part where we stretch out like that. Okay, so we're going. There we go. Now the next one is keep the pinky where it is, but slide everything down 1 fret. This is the finger destroyer. That it's hard to get this clear. So you don't have to bar this many strings, you can bar fewer, but sometimes it just takes less special focus just to plop it down without aiming for any particular string. Okay, now, luckily we're out of there. We go back to this, low E string again. Got that pinky note. This time, keep the arpeggio going. This is the same shape we had earlier, but we're continuing this arpeggio thing. And then we go, a number of ways to do that. We have this. You could keep this finger down, 5 and 5 here, and then make it 5 and 3. So he's going back to, it's an E minor chord, so we have a B note up on top, then an A, that's just a note in the key of E minor, and that, okay, so we have Now I should mention, I forgot to say it at the beginning, this song is recorded in the key of F minor. That's for Steven Tyler's voice, I'm sure. It's gonna be impossible to put the bass in with these chords in the key of F minor, so we're playing it in a guitar key of E minor. I'm sure that's how Joe Perry would have preferred to play it, but you gotta accommodate the singer's voice. But we're playing in E minor so that we can play a lot more open strings, and that's why E minor is such a common guitar key. So after we do this, we're gonna jump up to here, and now we have A in the bass. We're just following what the bass guitar is doing and adding all these things in on top. Okay, got some cool fourth sounds here over that A note. Now here we're going to climb up D in the bass, then D sharp, then to E, and then we have this really cool harmonic minor thing that's coming up right here. So we're going C, B, C, B, C, B, and climb up those notes. D in the bass, D sharp, and then we're gonna end on E like that and do this crazy run. Let's do everything up to here that we have so far. Stretch out there, back to E minor. Here we are going to do this nice long E minor, E harmonic minor upward run here. So leaving the bass note out, let's see what the notes are here. We're going to pull off, right, C, B, A, and we're going to slide up to D sharp. That's the Spanish sounding note, harmonic minor, right? Everything is natural except the F's are sharp. And the D sharp is that harmonic minor note. On the way back down, he doesn't play it. That's interesting. That's like a classical way of conceiving of the harmonic minor scale. Sharp 7 on the way up, and then a minor 7th, which would be D natural on the way back down, and that's what he does. He comes down here, he doesn't play this one, because it's kind of too big of a jump to go down, you could say. Okay, so we have B, C, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, A, and then we come back. We're gonna be doing some hammer-ons and pull-offs as we go. So here's what we have. Slid up there. I'm stretching way out like this. Better to use our two strong fingers, Django Reinhardt style, so that we can have more control. And you can use other fingers, but I find that just feels better using those main fingers, even if we have to stretch a lot. So see, there's a lot of hammering and then sliding. Okay. Once you get to that high D note on the 10th fret, we will switch our fingers out. It's a different thing here. We're going, okay, a very classical thing to do. I'm hammering the 8 to the 10th fret, hammer on, pull off, careful not to bend the string, 7 to 8, 5 to 7, then we have 3 to 5. There's that D natural, so it's the natural minor scale on the way down and harmonic on the way up. Once we get down here to C, we pull off to B, and then we're going to do a kind of a ghost hammer. We're not gonna pick this note, that's why it's so faint at the end. Try to hammer on from nowhere and just get your finger on it, and we're sliding up to this high B note. Pretty tough, but kind of cool. So on the way back down, we have, and I'm doing rest strokes on the right hand and covering up the neighboring strings, so if we accidentally hit those, we don't want them to sound. Let's look at that whole ending here. So it might take some work to get that one down. This is really a great old song, a very Spanish guitar type of song. Here he starts singing. If you want to see me play a full arrangement of this where I have the vocals and the bass and the chords and everything in one solo instrumental guitar arrangement, check that out right here.